Hi, I'm Christina from Travels with Ted. I've been living in an RV since 2016. First moved into a 34-foot fifth wheel that we lived in for 8 years. Then last year we moved into this tiny 23-foot travel trailer. Today I'm sharing 100 things I wish someone had told me before I moved into an RV. If you're interested in RV life, you're going to want to stick around. I'll start with 10 tips for buying an RV. 1. Bigger isn't always better. When purchasing an RV for full time living, many families prioritize space. However, bigger is definitely not always better when it comes to RVs. Longer RVs are more difficult to drive, use more fuel, and limit where you can stay. When we initially purchased our 34-foot fifth wheel, we were worried that we wouldn't have enough storage space. After years of living on the road, we downsized to a 23-foot travel trailer, and we love our smaller rig. And I've actually met many full time RVers who have downsized after a few years on the road. Of course, it's a personal decision, and I've also met a few RVers who upgraded after buying a smaller RV first. 2. Attend an RV show. With all the RV options available, narrowing down the type and layout you want can be overwhelming. Attending an RV show allows you to tour hundreds of RVs in just a day or two. 3. Get an inspection. When purchasing a used RV, schedule a professional inspection before committing to the purchase. We have heard so many horror stories of people buying an RV only to find out that it had thousands of dollars in water damage or other costly issues. A professional inspection is also a good idea when purchasing a new RV. Just because the RV is new doesn't mean it's perfect. An inspection will allow you to identify issues and request repairs before the sale is final. Buy the RV before the tow vehicle. It's ideal to purchase a travel trailer or fifth wheel first. That way, you know the required towing capacity of your truck before you get it. Stay on budget. As I detail later in this video, RV life is not necessarily an affordable lifestyle. Start your RV life on the right foot by sticking to your budget. And don't forget to include desired upgrades in your budget. When determining the budget for your RV, don't forget to account for any upgrades you plan to make. Most RVs will require some upgrades to make them safe and comfortable for full time living. This could include anything from lithium ion batteries to solar panels to more affordable things like faucets and shower heads. Before buying, compare prices online. In today's world, it's easy to find out if an RV is fairly priced. Whether you're purchasing a new or used RV, browse online marketplaces such as RV Trader to see the going rate for the model you are considering. Remember that RVs depreciate quickly. While most homes are considered an investment, it's important to remember that your home on wheels will depreciate. When setting your budget, remember that when it comes time to sell your RV, it will most likely be worth significantly less than you paid. Where you buy your RV does matter. When purchasing an RV for full-time living, where you purchase your RV can be just as important as which RV you purchase. If you plan to return to the dealership for repairs and warranty work, then you need to trust the dealer. Repair work can also take time, so it's ideal to work with a service shop that is located near friends or relatives who will let you stay with them while your RV is in the shop. Videotape the walkthrough. When we purchased our fifth wheel 9 years ago, we had never camped in an RV. I paid close attention to the walkthrough and took notes, but I still had so many questions once we parked at our campsite. Instead of trying to remember every detail, ask your dealer for permission to videotape your walkthrough so you can always go back and reference it. Next up, let's talk about selecting campgrounds and RV parks. Once you have your RV, it's time to start planning your journey. Here are 10 helpful tips for selecting campgrounds and RV parks. First, book a local stay for at least 1 month. After you purchase your RV, you'll be so excited to hit the road and start your new life of adventure. However, we strongly recommend staying in the local area for at least 1 month after purchasing your home on wheels. Staying locally for a few weeks helped us adjust to living in an RV, get organized, and learn the ins and outs of our new rig. Being close to the dealership where you purchased your RV also gives you the opportunity to get any initial issues repaired before hitting the road. Some planning is required. When we first moved into an RV, we pictured ourselves living spontaneously and moving whenever and wherever we felt like it. However, after trying to make last-minute reservations at popular campgrounds, we quickly learned that some planning is required. Many destinations, such as national parks, book up months in advance. We now try to create a tentative plan a year in advance so we can always get reservations at popular locations. Book winter reservations early. Winter reservations, especially, cannot be left until the last minute. The majority of full time RVers and RV snowbirds spend their winters in Florida, Texas, or Arizona. Therefore, campgrounds in these states often fill up the day reservations open. If you want to spend your winter enjoying warm weather, you'll need to plan in advance. Do leave some room for spontaneity. While planning is a necessity for full time RVers, it's also important to leave room for spontaneity. There is nothing worse than hearing about an awesome hike or campground along your route, but not having enough time to stop and check it out. After multiple incidents of wishing we had more time to explore, we've started leaving extra unplanned days between destinations. With this wiggle room built into our schedule, we can extend a stay or stop somewhere cool along our route without messing up all our other plans. Check cancellation policies before booking. Another way we balance planning and impulsiveness is by carefully reading cancellation policies. When booking a campground months in advance, we try to book sites that are fully refundable. That way, we can change our plans without losing money. Look at real camper photos. Many RV parks, especially those that are part of large chains, have professional photographers to take pictures for their website. To avoid disappointment, always check out photos from other campers on Google or campground review sites like RV Life before booking. Prioritize practical amenities. Full time RVers should also consider practical amenities when booking campsites. For example, we love camping in state parks, but if the park doesn't have laundry, we usually don't want to stay there more than a week. Utilize RV camping memberships. One way we find campsites and save money is through our campground memberships, such as Thousand Trails and Harvest Host. Every full time RV family should consider at least one RV membership. Boondocking is great, sometimes. If you're looking for free campsites with beautiful views, you should consider boondocking or dry camping on public lands. Boondocking often means staying at more spacious campsites closer to nature. However, boondocking also means conserving water and power, worrying about cell service, and moving the RV when the tanks need to be emptied. While some full time RVers boondock regularly, we prefer to stay at full service RV parks the majority of the time. When we find an awesome boondocking spot, we take a few days off work and just enjoy nature. Don't forget to apply for a passport. Some of our most memorable RV road trips have been outside of the United States. We spent an amazing summer in the Canadian Rockies and a fun winter on the beaches of Baja, Mexico. Make sure everyone in your family has current passports before you start RV living full time. Next up are my RV travel day tips. Ted's going to join us for this segment. Travel days can be one of the most daunting parts of RV living. Follow these tips to ensure you stay safe and happy on the road. You need a checklist. Even if you are an experienced camper, you need a checklist for RV travel days. After we got the hang of setting up and breaking down our campsite, we stopped using a checklist. Then inevitably, we forgot to lock our cabinets and stuff was broken. Having a checklist helps ensure everything inside and outside the RV is properly secured. But things will break anyway. While we highly recommend using a checklist, we also recommend always being prepared for a small travel day disaster. Driving down bumpy highways can be the equivalent of your home going through an earthquake. Despite having everything secured properly, we've had light fixtures fall and break and cabinets fly open. Being able to handle a mess is a necessary skill for RV living. Take it slow. Some of the best advice we ever received about RV living is to take it slow. By take it slow, I mean that RVers should literally drive slow. There are many reasons to drive slowly. First, many RV tires are only rated for speeds up to 65 miles per hour. Driving slowly also conserves fuel and helps prevent accidents. I also recommend taking your time between destinations. Shorter travel days are less stressful and allow for a more enjoyable journey. Pay attention to weather forecast. Many of the worst RV accidents we have seen or read about were due in part to weather conditions such as high winds or heavy rains. Always check the forecast before a travel day and stay off the road if conditions are not ideal. Check the RV tire pressure. Always check tire pressure before hitting the road in your RV. The recommended tire pressure is noted on the sidewall of your tires. Traveling with an air compressor is ideal so tire pressure can be adjusted before you get on the road. For even more peace of mind, install a tire pressure monitoring system that constantly tracks tire pressure and temperature. Always keep the tank half full. There is nothing more frustrating or embarrassing than running out of fuel on your road trip. While hitting empty may seem unlikely, it definitely happens to many RVs traveling in remote areas where fuel stations are few and far between. To avoid running out of gas, we never allow our tow truck to get below halfway full. Plan fuel stops. We highly recommend planning your fuel stops both to prevent running out of gas or diesel and to save money. Use RV travel apps to check gas prices and find RV friendly fuel stations along your route. Make your own food. Another way to simplify travel days is to make your own food. Having food already packed means you can stop at any fuel station instead of needing to find parking at restaurants. Preparing your own travel day meals and snacks also helps full time RVers stay healthy on the road. The most easily accessible restaurants are typically unhealthy fast food options, and those get old quickly when you travel frequently. Don't trust Google Maps. To select the best routes for RV travel, use a road carrier's atlas to identify routes appropriate for larger vehicles, or use an RV GPS like RV Life Pro. Do not rely solely on navigation apps like Google Maps, which may take you down narrow or winding roads or suggest you take multiple U turns. Always have some cash. Another important lesson we have learned while RV living full time is that we always need to have some cash on hand during travel. We have been through cash only toll booths and stopped at remote gas stations where the credit card machine was down. Travel with an emergency kit. Even the most prepared full time RVers will likely experience some sort of roadside emergency, like a blown tire. We actually had 3 blown tires before we upgraded our wheels. To make these situations easier, purchase a roadside emergency kit with things like first aid kit, tow rope, reflective warning triangles, work gloves, and more. Take advantage of travel time. When we first hit the road, travel days were my least favorite days. I would spend my time in the truck, counting the minutes until we arrived at our next destination. However, after several years on the road, I've changed my attitude. Travel days are a great opportunity to enjoy time with your spouse or family and to learn new things. I now look forward to our time in the truck when we listen to podcasts or audiobooks, talk to each other, and plan future adventures. The next thing I'm going to talk about is one of the things we're asked about most as full-time RVers, and that's the cost of RV living. The first thing I'm going to tell you is RV life isn't necessarily cheap. This is one of the first lessons we learned as full-time RVers. While we no longer had a house payment, we had so many new expenses. Rent for RV parks and fuel for our tow truck cost way more than we had originally expected. We also spent more on eating out and entertainment since there were so many new places to try and so many new experiences to enjoy. Over the years, we've reined in our budget by following the rest of the tips in this section. Budgets should be planned annually. While many families stick to a monthly budget, full-time RVers should set a budget annually as monthly expenses can vary widely. For example, some months we pay $500 for a monthly campsite and have low fuel expenses as we don't travel very far. And other months we're traveling frequently and spending over $1,500 on fuel. Setting an annual budget at the beginning of the year allows us to splurge some months without ever spending beyond our means. Traveling slower equals traveling cheaper. We've also learned that slower travel is easier on our wallets. Traveling shorter distances means we spend less on fuel, and staying in one place longer also allows us to truly enjoy each place we visit. Monthly rates can save you money. Looking for campgrounds with monthly rates is one of the best ways to save on RV expenses. We can save hundreds of dollars each month on rent by booking long-term stays instead of paying nightly rates. Eating in is tough, but it's key to saving. As I noted earlier, we love visiting new restaurants in each location we visit. However, eating out frequently is an easy way to blow your budget. We do our research and pick a few must-visit dining options in each area, but we cook 90% of our meals in the RV. Consider the true value of a storage unit. Storage units can be another major expense for full-time RV families. When we moved into our RV, there were a few items we couldn't bring on the road, but we weren't ready to give away. So we ended up renting a small storage unit. After years on the road, we have not pulled a single item out, and we regret getting the storage unit every month when the $100 bill has to be paid. If you plan to live on the road for a set period of time, it may be financially sensible to store furniture and other items. However, if you plan for your full-time living journey to last for years, seriously consider whether the storage unit bill is worth holding on to more stuff. Have a reasonable repair fund. Before hitting the road, every full-time RV family should have an RV maintenance and repair fund. The amount needed in your repair fund will depend on the age of your RV and whether or not you have an extended warranty. We personally budget about $250 a month or $3,000 per year for regular service and unexpected repairs. When not used, our monthly repair budget is put into a savings account. Pause before purchasing. Downsizing your possessions is one of the first steps in the process of RV living full time. However, it can be easy to accumulate more stuff as you travel. Even after years of living on the road, we still purchase unnecessary items that end up being donated in our next purge. To avoid purchasing things we don't really need, we try to follow the pause before purchasing rule. If we see a new RV gadget that looks cool, we don't purchase it right away. Instead, we wait a week or two, then decide if the purchase is really sensible. Free adventures can be the most memorable. One great way to save money while traveling is to prioritize free adventures. Many of our most memorable experiences are hikes that cost us absolutely nothing. We also look for free events such as live music and local fairs. Work camping is a great way to save. Another great way to save is to find a work camping job. While work camping is a primary income source for some full-time RVers, others like us use work camping jobs as a side hustle. Since our work schedule as content creators is flexible, Justin sometimes also takes a work camping gig where he earns extra money and we get free campground rent and other perks. Next up, working from the road. Unless you start RV life after retirement, you'll need to find a way to earn money from your RV. My first tip is to weigh entrepreneurship versus telecommuting. One of the first decisions to make when selecting a career for RV living is whether or not to start your own business. Being an entrepreneur with a flexible schedule sounds ideal for RV living, but it isn't always that simple. Starting your own business can be stressful, especially when you're making another life change by moving into an RV. Before quitting your 9 to 5, really consider if being an entrepreneur makes sense for you and your family. During our first 3 years on the road, I telecommuted to a demanding corporate job. I worked 50 plus hours a week, and I could really only explore on the weekends. After starting Travels with Ted as a side hustle and working even more hours each week, I was able to quit my job and make more time for adventure. Running my own business is amazing, but it took a lot of time and effort to make it work. Also weigh time versus money. When considering how you'll earn money on the road, it is also important to weigh time versus money. With remote work becoming more acceptable, RVers have more job opportunities. However, the highest paying job may not always be the best job for full-time RV life. If you moved into an RV because you wanted to spend more time living life and enjoying your family, then really consider the work-life balance when accepting a new position. Any job with a flexible schedule is ideal for full-time RVers. Setting your own work hours allows you to go out and explore when the weather cooperates. For RVers who are stuck in a 9 to 5, using time zones to your advantage can help create more time for exploration. For example, if you work on Eastern Time, you can travel to the West Coast, wake up early for work, and have hours of daylight left when you log off. One internet option isn't enough. If your job is online, one internet option will not be sufficient. While it's possible to get internet almost anywhere these days, each connection option has limitations. To make sure you're always connected, many full-timers have both a mobile hotspot plan and a Starlink dish. We personally have two mobile hotspots from different providers. Noise-canceling headphones are a must. If your job involves virtual meetings, you need a great pair of noise-canceling headphones. Without them, kids playing in the campground, neighbors' dogs barking, and the pounding of rain on the RV roof can all ruin an important meeting. Even if your job doesn't involve many meetings, noise-canceling headphones can help block out campground noise and keep you focused. A desk is a non-negotiable. Our first RV did not come with a desk, and I spent my days working from our RV's recliner for several years. My back, my hips, and my posture all suffered terribly. If you work from a computer, either buy an RV with a desk or include a desk in your RV renovation. Try to face a window. When shopping for RVs or planning your renovation, try to select a floor plan that allows you to place your desk by a window. Being able to look out at the views makes working from an RV a much more pleasurable experience. But know sometimes your view will be another RV. While I enjoy my window views on most work days, sometimes the scenery isn't ideal. Be realistic when dreaming about RV living and understand that some days your view will be stunning and other days you'll be looking at your neighbor's RV. Working outside doesn't always work. Before moving into the RV, I thought my new life would include many days spent outside working. However, I quickly learned that working outside isn't all it's cracked up to be. The glare from the sun can make it impossible to see your laptop screen, and winds often prevent me from putting the awning out to create shade. On perfect, temperate, cloudy days, I enjoy an outdoor workday, but most of the time, my desk is a better option. And finally, make sure your spouse's job is compatible with yours. If you and your spouse both plan to work from your RV, you need to ensure that your jobs are compatible with tiny living. If you both plan to telecommute, you need to plan for what you will do when you both have a meeting at the same time. Next up, RV living logistics. RV life requires a lot of admin. These lessons learned about RV living logistics will make your first year on the road easier. Domicile is complicated. RV domicile refers to the place full time RVers legally define as their home when they do not have an actual house or property that serves as their permanent and principal home. Many new full time RVers plan to move their domicile to a state with low taxes, but establishing domicile in a new state can be complicated. I've got a complete guide to how to establish domicile, and so I'll link to that below in the description. Full-time RVers still have to serve on juries. Since moving into our RV, we have both been summoned for jury duty multiple times. Even though we don't really live anywhere, we still have civic responsibilities to our domicile location. When we are across the country on the date of our summons, we request a deferral as we're on an extended road trip. However, if we are within a day's drive of the court location, we try to modify our plans so we can serve on the jury. Snail mail isn't dead. When we moved into our RV, I made sure all of our accounts were set to paperless so we would receive digital bills. However, I quickly learned that many documents, including insurance paperwork, vehicle registrations, have to be sent through the mail. Before starting RV living full time, you need to find a long term mail solution. RV mail options include a trusted family member or an RV mail forwarding service. You must have full time RV insurance. Buying RV insurance is not as simple when you plan to live in your RV. When shopping for policies, you must disclose that you will live in your RV and find a policy that covers RV living full time. We've heard horror stories of full timers who purchased standard RV insurance and were denied coverage when the company learned they were living in the vehicle. Plan an annual home visit. Like all people, full time RVers still need to have regular checkups, renew their driver's licenses, and perform other mundane tasks. To avoid having to find new providers all over the country, we recommend scheduling an annual home visit where you return to your domicile location and complete all of your annual appointments. Affordable health insurance is difficult to find. If you choose to work camp or start your own business to fund your RV lifestyle, finding affordable and reliable health insurance can be a major challenge. Keep this in mind when setting your budget and thinking about RV life career options. Always locate emergency services. Since we're living in our RV full time, it's not uncommon for me to have to think about what town or what state I'm in currently. And I usually don't know my way around without a GPS. But you never want to have to think about where to go in the middle of an emergency. The day you arrive in a new town, always look up the nearest emergency room and emergency veterinarian and save the location in your phone or GPS. Downsizing is a constant process. Downsizing is not just something you do before moving into an RV. It's a constant process. As you spend more time on the road, you will learn more about what you really do and don't need. Be prepared to constantly analyze what stays, what goes, and if you really need to buy something new. Being organized is super important. Before RV life, I was a mess, literally. My office desk was always covered in papers, and my closet was a full on disaster. However, living tiny makes organization a necessity. Everything in your RV should have a place, and you should clean regularly to prevent any clutter from getting out of hand. Our next topic is RV maintenance and repair realities. Like any home, an RV requires regular maintenance and repairs. Follow these tips to ensure your RV stays in tip-top shape. Black tank maintenance is simple but important. One RVing task most new campers dread is emptying the black tank. The reality, it's not really that bad, and you'll get used to it within a few months. While emptying the black tank is easy, it is super important to learn to do it the right way. Rookie mistakes can lead to big problems down the road. I'll link to a guide below with more instructions. RV repairs can take months. One RV life reality we were not prepared for was the amount of time RV repairs can take. When our RV needed a new roof, we called almost 100 shops, and the shortest timeline was 2 months. A warranty may be useless. Another expensive lesson we learned is that an RV warranty may be useless for RV living full time. We purchased a new RV specifically because we wanted a warranty. However, warranty approval often added even more time to the repair process. The expenses involved in changing plans and finding other accommodations usually made it more affordable just to pay cash for repairs instead of waiting for warranty approval. By the time our first RV needed major repairs, our warranty had already ended. For our next RV, we purchased an extended service contract that covers service calls and has a super quick pre-authorization process. RV warranties can be worthwhile, but it's important to understand the terms and required approval process to determine the real value. Full-time RVers need a backup accommodation plan. If you live in an RV long enough, eventually a major repair will be required. Therefore, all full-time RV families need a backup place to stay. When our RV had to be in the shop for an extended period of time, we are lucky enough that we've had family we could stay with. If you don't feel comfortable staying with friends or family for an extended period, make sure your repair savings fund has enough money to cover the cost of a hotel or Airbnb. For a cheaper option, we've used repairs with shorter timelines as an opportunity to take a tent camping trip. DIY RV maintenance is key for full-time RVers. Given the long wait times at many RV repair shops, RV maintenance is an essential skill for full-time RVers. While learning how to properly maintain your RV may sound daunting, I promise you it's totally doable. When we moved into our RV, we knew nothing about RV maintenance. Now we're experts. Track mileage after every trip. One key aspect of RV maintenance is knowing how many miles you put on your RV. If you drive a motorhome, you can simply use the odometer. However, full-timers with travel trailers and fifth wheels need to log their mileage after every trip. When troubleshooting, keep it simple. The most important lesson we have learned about RV repairs is to stay calm and start with the simplest solutions. For example, if your furnace stops working, double check that the propane tank isn't empty before moving on to more complicated solutions. 90% of RV issues are easily fixed. When troubleshooting, always start with the easiest solution. Call your manufacturer for advice. Another RV troubleshooting tip is to call your manufacturer for advice. If your issue is common, then they may be able to help you pinpoint the problem quickly. Or call Lippert. Lippert, a company that makes tons of RV parts from stairs to jacks to leveling systems to axles to awnings, is also super helpful troubleshooting resource. If you're having issues with a Lippert part, simply call their customer service line. I've called Lippert multiple times for jack issues, and their knowledgeable support staff walked me through the fix step by step. Utilize your brand's RV forum. Another great RV troubleshooting resource is your brand's online forum. There's an online forum for almost every RV manufacturer and for some specific makes and models. These are a great place to ask questions and get answers from other campers who have the exact same RV that you do. And last, always take photos before starting a repair. Even if a repair seems simple, always take photos before you start. When putting something back together or installing a new part, it can be super easy to forget where that wire was plugged in. Taking photos will save time and prevent frustration. Moving on to RV living with pets. Of course, my dog Ted is refusing to join me for this segment. Many full-time RVers travel with pets. If you plan on bringing your cat or dog along on the journey, follow these tips for living with pets on the road. Consider your pets when buying your RV. You need to consider your pet's needs before you select an RV. For example, if you're traveling with a cat, you need to think about where you're going to put a litter box, and a scratch pad when selecting an RV floor plan. Keep in contact with your home vet. Earlier, we recommended having an annual home visit for doctor's appointments. We recommend doing the same with your veterinarian. That way, you can have all your pets' annual vaccines and checkups completed by the same vet. While you will need to visit new vets for unexpected injuries, having a regular vet you trust is important. If your trusted home vet understands your living situation, they'll also likely be willing to answer questions for you over the phone. Ask your vet to print records. Every time you visit a vet, ask them to print out a copy of your pet's records. The records are very helpful to new vets you have to visit on the road, and vaccine records are sometimes required at campgrounds. Use Bring Fido to find local dog-friendly establishments. No one brings their dogs on the road just to leave them behind in the camper all the time. Use the website Bring Fido to find dog-friendly restaurants and activities in any town. Keep a stash of your pet's regular food. Changing your pet's food suddenly may lead to digestive issues. To prevent having to change food, always keep at least a 2-week stash of your pet's regular food so you have time to order more online if you're having trouble finding it in local stores. Grooming appointments need to be planned. Any dog owner knows that most dog groomers are booked weeks, if not months, in advance. Getting appointments is even harder when you're going to new groomers all the time. Try to plan your travels so you can make grooming appointments at least 2 months in advance. Remember that pets can't always be left in the RV alone. While it's generally safe to leave your pets in the RV, this is not always the case. If you plan on boondocking, you need to check the weather to ensure your pet is safe to be left alone without air conditioning. Even when connected to shore power, it's possible for the AC to go out due to a power outage. Installing a temperature sensor allows you to monitor the temperature inside your RV from your phone so you always know your pet is safe. And finally, never let your pet roam free at a campground. While we definitely encourage taking your pets on all the adventures, you should never let your pet roam free at a campsite. Having your pet off leash puts it in danger from cars and other campground pets, and it's also against the rules at most campgrounds. Even if you're boondocking in the wilderness, it's not advisable to let your pet off leash. They may get hurt by the local wildlife, or they may hurt the local wildlife. If you have a cat that loves to be outside, consider leash training or buying an outdoor enclosure. Next up, we're going to talk about essential RV living gear. I wanted to take you outside for this one, but it doesn't look like this rain is going to let up anytime soon. We often talk about downsizing for RV life, but RV living also requires a lot of specialty gear. So I'm going to talk to you about a few essentials that every full-time family should own. First are RV holding tank essentials. RV holding tank essentials include at least 20 feet of sturdy sewer hose supports, and a separate garden hose for flushing your black tank. We also recommend a reverse flush valve, which is a handy tool for breaking up black tank clogs. Next up, surge protector. Surge protectors are one of the most important pieces of equipment to protect your RV. Surge protectors need to be used every time you plug into shore power. Water pressure regulator. Another essential piece of equipment for campsites with hookups is a water pressure regulator. High water pressure can bust RV plumbing connections and cause leaks or full-on floods. Buy an adjustable regulator to make sure you stay between a safe range of 40 to 55 psi. A tire gauge and an air compressor. A handheld digital gauge allows you to check tire pressure before you travel. We also recommend traveling with a portable air compressor so you can adjust the tire pressure before hitting the road. Leveling blocks. These easy-to-stack blocks allow you to level your RV on uneven ground. They can be also placed under jacks and stabilizers for added stability. Power adapters. Not all campgrounds have both 30 and 50 amp plugins. If you have a 50 amp RV, you will need a 30 amp and 15 amp power adapters. These adapters allow you to plug into lower amp connections at campgrounds where 50 amp power is not available. If you have a 30 amp RV, you need 30 to 50 amp power adapters so you can still connect at RV parks that only have a 50 amp plug. A basic RV toolkit. Earlier, we talked about the importance of routine maintenance. To complete this maintenance and other basic repairs, you need a stocked toolbox. We'll link to our RV tool checklist. Alternate power sources. If you plan on dry camping or boondocking for any extended period of time, you will need portable power sources. These can include solar panels and generators. RV safety devices. Every RV needs to be equipped with a gas alarm to detect propane and carbon monoxide leaks, fire extinguishers, and smoke alarms. And finally, an RV logbook. Every full-time RVer needs a logbook to track their mileage, schedule maintenance, and to record details about campsites. After several years on the road, it can be difficult to remember where you stayed during your last visit to each area. And now we're going to move on to our last section, the other full-time RV living tips. There's so much to know about RV living that we have one more section just of random tips for living on the road. Really important one here. Find out if you like RVing before moving into one. Okay, this may seem obvious, but it's important to find out if you like RVing before you sell your house and move into an RV. We had never RV'd before moving into one. Fortunately, we love the lifestyle. However, I've spoken to a full few timers over the year who regretted their decision to sell all their stuff. Consider renting an RV and taking an extended road trip before you jump feet first into RV life. Also, think hard before renovating. Fully renovating an RV is a ton of work and can cost a lot of money. Fortunately, many RVs available today come with beautiful modern interiors. If you decide to renovate your RV, we highly recommend living in it for at least a few months before you start. It's important to understand your travel day routine and how you use each space before diving into an expensive renovation. Leave no trace. Whether you're camping in the wilderness, at a state park, or at a resort campground, you should leave your campsite as clean or cleaner than you found it. In recent years, many popular boondocking sites have been shut down because RV campers were leaving their trash behind. Magnets are the best souvenirs. When living in an RV, it can be difficult to find souvenirs that don't take up too much space. We found that magnets are the perfect solution. They're small, available at every destination, and can be stored right on your refrigerator. National park stamps are also a great souvenir. Another great souvenir is a national park passport. These passport books are made to collect ink stamps from each national park site that you visit. Simply take your national park passport to any visitor center or park store and get a free ink stamp with the date and location of your visit. I really wish I had purchased one of these books before our first national park adventure. Sweeping is a daily chore. When downsizing for RV life, don't get rid of your broom. If you're traveling with pets or kids, your RV will constantly be full of dirt and sand. Cleaning an RV is pretty easy, but sweeping is a daily, if not multiple times a day, chore. RVs are on wheels for a reason. One of the many great things about RV life is that it's easy to move your home. If you're ever in an area where a tropical storm, hurricane, or other major weather event is predicted, pack up and get out of there. The journey is more important than checking off a list. When we first hit the road, we regularly counted the number of states and national parks we had visited. However, we soon realized that enjoying the journey is more important than checking off a list. We've met so many full-time RVers who visited every state within a year or two, and these speedy travelers seem exhausted. Focus on enjoying an area and really exploring it instead of rushing off to the next location to hit some arbitrary goal. Currently, my husband and I have traveled to 49 of 50 states, and we keep missing North Dakota. We'll get there eventually, but it doesn't make it any less enjoyable to know that we've only visited 49 states. Full-time RVers do not need to give up their hobbies. Downsizing for RV life doesn't mean giving up things you really love. We have 2 sets of golf clubs, a sewing machine, and a hula hoop in this tiny RV. If there's an activity you love, there's always a way to make room for it in your tiny home. RV life isn't a vacation. Finally, it's important to remember that RV living full-time doesn't mean always being on vacation. Living the RV lifestyle definitely means we are on vacation more than the average family, but we still have to deal with all the realities of life. Thanks for watching our complete guide to full-time RV living. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Happy camping!